The reason that we're jumping on here together is every single week inside of my mortgage broker builder community, I do a weekly webinar where we try to add something of value. Because in today's world, we all talk about adding value, but we're not valuable because we say we are. We're actually valuable when our clients, consumers, real estate agent, referral partners actually use the tools and the things that we get out there. And I've been working personally with Vonk Digital. So Anthony's there at Vonk Digital since, I want to say, probably 2000, but they've been building websites for thousands of mortgage bankers at this point. And recently they came out with a suite of calculators called Goalie. And we live in a world today where the gurus are always telling you, like, oh, post more on social media, do this, stay consistent, do that. But they never give anybody what that next step is. So it's great, post every single day. If you don't have a clear call to action and telling them what to do next, like, it's kind of useless. It's like screaming in the wilderness. So I wanted to bring Anthony in here and talk about what he's doing with Goalie, kind of what he sees out there in the marketplace today, and a bunch of different things. And then anybody that's on this call, if you want to be part of the mortgage broker builder community, I'll include a link here. You can join 100% free. Something we do on the back end. Maybe I'll show you, maybe not. That would be cool as well. But Anthony, welcome. And thanks for being here. Just curious to get some insights of you, of what you're seeing out there in the market. Like, you work with a ton of people. I think you're awesome on the marketing side. I love the Goalie calculators. So
thank you.
I'll let you just take it over.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for playing along today. I'm going to try to go through this relatively quick. My background's in originating loans as well, so I understand the attention span mindset of our industry. But so what I did is I put together a little presentation that we're just going to go through just to make it a little bit more visual. We'll end up talking about Goalie at the end, but I think it's going to be helpful whether you use Goalie or not, just for how we think about 2026 and moving forward from a marketing standpoint. If I just go through a little bit of what I'm seeing and what we're seeing now, some of this stuff, because you're originating and on the front lines and dealing with borrowers and prospects every day, will be familiar to you. You may just not have thought of it in this lens. So let me just walk through that, if that's okay, and then at the end we can answer questions, but let's just jump right in. John, again, thanks for the time today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You've got the Joe Rogan photo there with Joe Rogan on ivermectin. Oh, it's got I like that. I should go for that color.
All right, here we go. 2026. I think the biggest thing that you guys are all experiencing personally and professionally is that, like, consumer behavior, just how we get information, is changing. Let's just call it what it is. It's AI, right? AI has entered the chat figuratively and literally. And what I've noticed, being like a marketer, being a mortgage professional, a mortgage company owner, is that the biggest thing that has changed is access to information. We always had Google, but the way we interacted with it was different. And there's now an abundance of this, like, generic information. You can learn about anything. You can just ask ChatGPT. So it's really information, which was previously in the marketing world anyway, meaning as a strategy to market your business, information was always at a premium. So people sought out experts for information. Now they can get that anywhere. So we have to rethink what we're doing and not just focus it around, like, dumping information on people that they most likely already have, if that makes sense. So I pulled up some stats in here to back up some of the stuff we're talking about. But if you follow me at all, my whole thing is, like, the point of research. Like, that over the last couple of years, I've been talking about, okay, point of sale. Our industry hammered people on the point of sale, which is the application, but that's not really where the decision is made. And now we're starting to see data of, okay, most people, when they're searching, the biggest opportunity is during that research phase. And here's some information from NAR that'll, like, really land, I think, within our industry. It's people they're taking months and months to figure out if they're going to buy a house, what house they're going to buy, get pre-approved. And unfortunately, our industry has been, like, almost brainwashed to fight for that last second decision, when if we go back, we realize that's not really, the opportunity is much larger when people are still doing research. Does that all make sense? Anybody?
Yep.
Okay, so let's jump into just to recap information versus application. So we know we have ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini. Information is everywhere. So how do we provide value as business owners for you guys as loan originators? It's in implying that information. You're going to see a shift across even a lot of the coaching platforms, I imagine, as okay, we have the information now. What do we do with it? Let's put this into action. And that's where a lot of the real value is created now. So if you can start thinking about your business that way, this is going to be is super important, not it's going to be. So if we believe that information's everywhere and we believe we have to shift how we interact with people to move that up earlier in the decision cycle in that research phase, I wanted to introduce many of you. I don't know, maybe in the chat, has anybody heard of a lead magnet before? I'm sure there's some people that have and some people that haven't. I don't even know how I see the chat. There we go. Regardless if you've heard it or not, I think I just want to cover this one more time. Okay, yes, I'm seeing yes, good. Essentially, a lead magnet, for those of you who are unaware, is just something of value you can give to somebody in exchange for their information and the permission to follow up with them. Because again, taking a step back, if we know that the biggest opportunities when people are doing research, we need to find a way to connect with them and start a relationship super early so that along the way we can be riding with them as they're making a decision. So when they get to that point, they think of you. That's where lead magnets come in. So let's dig a little deeper in that. So why even bother with a lead magnet? Here's some more stats. These numbers, depending on where you get them, are always a little different, but the pattern is that it's a lot of touches before that you have to interact with somebody before you make a decision. And if the whole point of the lead magnet is to help somebody in advance to start building trust so you can get their information and do your follow-up marketing, whether that's through social, email, text, doesn't really matter, but just have the ability to communicate with somebody over time. Without that, you really like, let me back up. If I meet any of you as a potential borrower today and you don't give me your information and you don't actually take action until a year from now, the reality is you're going to forget. You would have forgotten who I am in most cases. So this idea around lead magnets is how I built my business at Vonk, providing value in advance. So this is not some theory that I just read about. I've lived this in my business year after year. It works because it's a natural way people develop relationships. You meet them, you help them, you provide value, you communicate over time. Most of those people will never use you for whatever you actually do, but the ones that do will be connected with you because you've helped them along the way. So trust is built over time. We clearly can't predict when people are ready, and you need to stay connected. So if you forget nothing else, if you forget everything, remember this, like to shift your mindset into why this is important, even though it may feel unnatural for people to just be like, oh, I'm doing all this work for tomorrow, hopeful business. Yeah, that's just how the world works. A couple more stats. And again, this is third-party stats. So now what we're seeing, again, information being so ubiquitous that we'll use me as an example. I've a lot of PDF cheat sheets, outlines, white papers, all valuable, but some of that information you can now get on your own. So we have to start shifting into how do we apply that information? And if you see here, interactive lead magnets are heavily outperforming static ones. Here's another stat on that from another conversion stat. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that in the background. Quizzes, calculators, surveys convert 70 times more than the passive content. It's definitely worth trying to align yourself with the things that people want. There's a saying I joke a lot of the times with, just give them what they want. It's really that basic when you think about it. Again, just to reiterate, chat, AI has entered the chat, which has made the information more ubiquitous, which is going to make interactive tools more relevant. So I've done this with John, and I had talked about this in the past, this food work framework. And this is a nice, simple way to think about just attracting borrowers over time. It's offer value at the point of research, which helps you build trust. And then you're in a position where you could guide them through the next steps when they're ready. In this food court framework, and to tie it back into lead magnets, if you've ever been to a food court, there's a million options, just there's a million options for websites, just like there's a million options for loans. You're walking through there, you're not really sure what to decide. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, someone's want to try the teriyaki chicken. And before you know it, you're ordering the two meat, two side combo that went with that teriyaki chicken sample. So if you can think of a lead magnet like a free sample, it's just an easy way to remind yourself what the value is. Does all this make sense so far?
Yeah, I definitely think it does. And I also think we're in a world today where things are a little bit different. And then it used to be somebody would go to your website ready to buy. And today I'm even looking at the way that I track conversion. Conversion of a fresh lead may not be that they click my apply now button. Conversion may be that they click on my calculator or that they click on that next step in between, almost like you have to take a fresh lead into an incubator, into then your sales funnel. So we're adding additional steps, but people need that. So this is good stuff.
Yep.
I like the teriyaki chicken. And had they not given me the sample, I may not have dined there.
Exactly. And if you can be thoughtful in what you're providing up front, and I always put it through the filter when I'm going to put something else or out for my company and with my name on it is, do I stand behind this? Would this be helpful to me? I think just the bar of the value you're providing is just getting raised in real time as we go. All right, let's keep going. So where do calculators fit into all this? There's that information layer and then applying it. And we believe that the calculators fit at this application layer, which is important because that's where you guys can still provide value. So let's look at some information here. Like we just flowed with the current, so to speak, when we decided to build Goalie. There is already a demand. It's millions of people a month just on Google alone still are searching for mortgage calculators. So we know that this information is people want it. They want the interaction. They can still go into ChatGPT and type like, what's my payment? But it's just the presentation of calculators to be able to manipulate the different numbers based on your scenario is still very desirable as the stats tell us. And if you dig deeper, let me just back up for a second. If you dig deeper into the stats, a lot of this traffic is going to the Zillows of the world. Bankrate gets about half of this. We know that there's demand, and we know if your prospects are left to themselves to search on their own, the likelihood is they're going to end up somewhere that's hyper designed to rip them out of your pipeline or rip them into their pipeline before they get into yours. So we have to think about, how do we get calculators that people want to the people we want to work with before they have to go find them on their own? That's the thesis here. Let's just go. And as I mentioned, the large, highly optimized conversion platforms like Zillow, like Bankrate, like Dave Ramsey, they're all leading with calculators.
Hey, if you're here, it must mean that what you're listening to, you don't think sucks, which is awesome. But we also have a community called the Mortgage Broker Builder Community, where every single day we try to share some sales techniques, some different skill things, maybe a system, something that you could implement in your business to do more business. My guarantee to you, if you join the group, you're not going to do any less business. So someplace in here, there will be a link for the mortgage broker builder community, completely free. Jump in there, check it out. If it sucks, you can always leave, but we look forward to seeing you in there.
If you go to Bankrate, the calculators, they advertise calculators, but what they're really doing is providing value in advance in the research phase, if we start to notice a pattern. But what they really want to do is graduate them, and their next step is their rate tables, because that's how they make their money. Or your next step would be a pre-approval, as an example.
Yeah, and one thing I would add there, just everybody on this call, if you just go in your own Google and Google mortgage calculator, you'll kind of see who's targeting your area, who is running ads inside of your space. Like I go to mortgagecalculators.org is the top thing that shows up for me.
Yep.
That's MRQ, that's market research, right? They're selling those leads for X number of dollars a click to a bunch of our PMF, district lending, whoever it is. So your own consumer, if you pre-approve somebody and don't give them someplace, I like to equate it of going out on a first date and then dropping your date off at the frat house. Probably not a great place to ensure a second date. So you want to try and insulate that. So just look at it. Like, what would your client do if you don't provide them a place? They're going to go and find some place on their own. And I think there's a ton of leakage in all of our businesses because that happens. You pre-approve somebody, off they go, dancing on the internet. Somebody else courts them and woos them away from you. And you just think they ghosted you. They didn't. Somebody else added value where you didn't.
Yep. All right. So we talked about lead magnets. We talked about the demand for calculators already. But again, if you go back to a PDF, someone may download a PDF, and before you know it, they've lost it. They never looked at it. They got distracted. What if we just have a lead magnet that lives on the device that everybody carries around with them all the time? And that's where one of the things within the Goalie ecosystem lives. It's a digital business card. Now, I don't know, many of you guys might use digital business cards. I saw some people, some NAM people in here right now. I was actually at NAM National this past fall, and I met somebody that I really wanted to follow up with. And that person gave me her digital business card, and I put it in my phone, and it got sucked into my contacts. Between the beginning of the event and 3 days later, meeting hundreds of people, I forgot her name. And it's just life. It happens. And she is literally in my phone, but I also have 25 years of contacts in my phone, thousands of contacts. I don't even know. There's no way I can find that person. And she's actually in my phone. The digital business card is great, but it has to be accessible. I don't know if you guys can see my phone, but rather than having it sit in your contacts, what if it just sat on your desktop? Anyway, so Goalie prospect, digital business card. The nice thing about it, if we go back to the lead magnet, is we blended the digital business card with your lead magnet. So those same calculators that live on your website or on landing pages are now built right into an app style digital business card to provide value in advance, keep you at the forefront. It's all privately branded, and make it easy for them to remember you when they're ready, whether that's 3, 6, 9 months down the line. Just as a quick overview of what lives inside Goalie, and you guys can go take a free trial at the end. There's no pressure on that. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's a full mortgage calculator suite. It's sharing tools with the Goalie cards, but most importantly, you can track engagement. So if John shares his card with somebody today and they do nothing for 3 months and then start interacting with it, you'll get notifications. So now it's a little bit more intentional, your touch points. There's also co-branding opportunities with referral partners. So why does this pattern work? If you go back to the free sample, if you go back to how people are getting information now from chat, people want to try before they commit. And if you can be the one providing high value tools with very low friction on your borrowers and your prospects' point of view, that will help build trust and build goodwill with you over time. This all making sense so far? Yep. See, Pauline, I hate those
Yep.
digital business cards. Yes, they get lost in your contacts. Exactly. Like I hadn't even thought through that until I lived it firsthand. I literally lost somebody inside my phone. It's almost ridiculous when you think about it. Here's just a visual of you share a card. Now you get to see Anthony open the app. Anthony went to the More tab. Anthony opened the Calculators tab, and you get to really see at a granular level what people are doing with your goalie card. All
I'm
right.
going to show them the app on my phone. I've got my screen pulled up here. I'm going to show them the app right on my phone.
Sure.
I think this is super cool.
We are resubmitting today with their requests, period.
It's resubmitting. Mute off. I just muted everybody. So right here, hopefully I didn't mute myself. This is just the home screen on my phone. I have right here, Dude Approved Homes is showing up right on there. And then here's what people get inside of there. There's a handy dandy little QR code, all of the different calculators. So payment, DSCR, net proceeds, buy before you rent, right? There's a bunch of them. Contact info. If I want to share this with somebody, it lands right on their phone.
You can share text or email. Yeah.
I drop this in there, it lands on their phone as a text. They click it. Next thing, they've got my little widget on their phone. I know people that have the Dude Approved app on their phone. They're like, how'd that get there? Because I'm sneaky. Digital business card there. So it's just a really cool thing that you can have with you all the time, anytime. And people love to have like a mortgage calculator. So
yeah,
right there. Super cool. I'll give it back to you, but wanted to share that. And it's your logo and it's easy to set up.
Yeah. All right.
And what was the name of that?
This is the Goalie app as a whole. I have mine called Dude Approved Homes. So that's just what I branded it as. I have a little Facebook page that I run that way. People like homes more than mortgages. So I just like to share a lot of different homes. Can you attach an application link to that digital business card? Glenn, you can attach all of what would be on Linktree to your business card.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing about the way we built Goalie was very intentional. It's one software brain that lives everywhere. So on your website, some people interact that way. We saw that millions and millions of people every month. You have your proactive lead magnet now, which is the digital business card, the Goalie card, to get this into people's hands. And again, when they download that or when they opt in for it, now you have their contact information, which you could push into a CRM to do follow-up marketing. You can retarget to them. There's a whole host of, and we'll get to that in a minute, and John touched on it, but there's different calculators for different intent reasons too. Like when you go out, you're not necessarily just saying, hey, let me like vomit a bunch of calculators on you. And you can talk to different target personas based on who you focus on or who you're talking to at that moment. There's buyers, there's homeowners, there's investors, there's sellers, there's renters. There's a tool that's going to help articulate and make this experience more clear for all the different prospect types you'll interact with. And we're continuing to build more too. So you can split them up and target people based on their own needs. Now, use cases, I started to list this out, and really the short answer, where and how you can use this in your business. I was like, should I keep this in everywhere? And I decided to because it's just true. Some of the use cases for how people right now in the market are using Goalie as an assist, and what they're doing is email marketing. We're seeing it in ads, call to actions in blogs, in person, certainly with the Goalie cards on your website. And that doesn't even have to be a Vonk site, if anybody here has a different web solution, these calculators can be put on all the major web platforms seamlessly. At open houses, talk about a much more interactive way to connect with somebody at open houses. Referral partners, there's co-branded calcs you can give to your referral partners to put on their site, which is all trackable back into your centralized brain backend, which I can show you if you want. over text, DMs, social posts. We even include a Canva, which I'm in right now, template you can customize with some of the images and headlines already built in, where you can just put your information and start promoting that way. So the use cases, in my opinion, are everywhere. And really the goal is what we're seeing now, and you can even see it in the way people communicate in their social posts. Like the digital and real world are complementing each other. So what you do online and what you do offline should be in sync. That's the general overview. Just to recap, AI is really become the main source of truth for just purely information. And so what we need to address is, how do the loan officers still stay relevant? And when we talked about that application stage, it's applying it to individuals. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm not there yet where AI is just going to do everything for me. With the big decisions, it's okay, I understand the premise, I got all the information, now let's see what makes sense for me specifically. So if you guys want to check it out, goalie.io, you can take a 2-week trial, no strings attached, and play with it yourself. If you have questions, you can also reach out to John or me. John is an active user. That's the wrap. Hopefully that's helpful. Any questions, thoughts, anything I can address? Can it become, I can go through some of these. Can it become, Glenn asked, can it become an icon on the receiver's phone? Yes. So when you share the Goalie card, it prompts them to add it to their home screen. They don't even have to go into the app store and do any of that. But that's part of the registration process, which you can turn on or off. Because within the back end of the system, you can actually put their name and phone number. So you don't technically, if you already have it, the registration could become a friction point. So you can even disable that if you want. What else? Can a QR code link to this digital business card? Yes, there's a QR code actually built into the card as well. So if you're in person, you could, here, let me see if I can pull mine up. I don't know if you guys can see this, but by my profile, there's a little QR code. So if you're with somebody in an event, or, fill in the blank where you're at, they can just scan that and it'll start the registration process automatically as well.
We got asked here, how many referral partners can you co-brand with? And I can actually show you what it looks like. And this is an area where I think agents do a terrible job. An agent will go out and say, open house Saturday. Well, what if they don't like that open house? Is there a plan B for that client to engage with it? Maybe it's a $400,000 house. Well, you can say, don't like this house. You want to check it out. They can go in here so I'm sharing right now what an agent would see. And this is just, all right, this is the dude approved home one that I made. My logo, if they want to jump on a quick call, they can get right there, takes them to book a call with me wherever I want to point it. And I don't even know if it limits how many people you can point it to. They want to download my FinLocker app, boom, right there. They can get to it, super simple. Also, my agent, I can put them in there. If they run a calculator and hit email me, it actually sends an email directly to themselves, right? Like with all their calculations, which we get a lot of people doing this. They can book an appointment, or they can share it with a friend, family, loved one. Heck, they could share it with their enemy if they want. But it does a lot of different things inside of here and becomes a great call to action that your agent partners can use too, right? Want to talk about listings? Want to know what you'd net back on the sale of your home? Boom, there's a calculator for that. Buy versus rent, DSCR. So anything that you're selling, you now end up with kind of a bunch of different lead magnets that kick off of this, and you can have up to 25 agents. So yourself co-branded with 25 agents, and it's super easy also for them to embed right in their site. You get all the embed code, piece of cake for them to share it that way. And maybe none of that made sense, but it's pretty cool. This is also what it looks like, whether they're on their phone or not. You can actually get the app just showing up in this way.
Hey, you're still here, which means that the stuff we're talking about is of interest to you, or you're looking at growing your business. You're looking maybe at doing more, or looking for new, fresh ideas. And if that's part of your game plan, if you're open-minded and want to try new things, we have a community called the Mortgage Broker Builder Community, where every single day we drop different, whether it be sales techniques, tactics, systems, different things that you can implement into your business to potentially do more. And my guarantee is if you join the community, you're not going to do any less business as a result of it. Someplace here on this page, there will be a link for the Mortgage Broker Builder community. We look forward to seeing you in there, and welcome. Let's grow together.
You can embed it right in your website. Same app, just embedded in a website. Regardless if you use Vonk or anybody, you got a Go High Level website, you can drop it right inside of there. Yeah, lots of stuff there.
Pauline, you share by attaching a text. You can share if you're asking about the Goalie card, you can text somebody right from within your app or from the back end of the site. You just go to business card invites and it'll send them a text to share your card. That page that John was just showing automatically gets generated too. We were very intentional about not creating like a development environment where a loan officer has to be distracted from originating. Like anytime you create a contact or a referral partner, it automatically generates a private landing page, which also tracks directly back into, and you can tell the source. If John was my referral partner and it was on his website and someone put some information in there, I would be able to see that it was from him.
Yeah, and your agent partners love it because they don't have anything like this. For the most part, they're relying on their client going and Googling whatever it might be and out to the interwebs, and God only knows where they end up from there. And one other thing that, like my people inside of the Mortgage Broker Builder community, what I found after almost 30 years of doing this, we are great at selling. We suck at setting stuff up. Or we are really good at setting stuff up and we suck at selling. This is both helps you sell easier because it gives you that call to action. Yeah, don't just do the post. Hey, check out my calculator. So it helps you with selling, but also for those of us that suck at setting stuff up, to do everything that's on here when you go to the get started, it probably takes you, I would say 10 to 15 minutes total to set up everything inside of here. And that's even if you have to dig through a Google Drive to find your logo. So super simple. They've made it, I don't know, it works really well. And at the price point, I wouldn't say it's a no-brainer, but you should have something like this.
Shelly asked, can you link to your socials like Linktree? Yes, the landing page. And then within that last screen that John showed had a bunch of links. Those are all custom. So you can put your website, booking calendar, point of sale, socials, whatever you want. Is there a version that exists that when we share in the email app that no Goalie branding shows? So let's talk about the Goalie branding for a second. The only branding, it's not going to show on the calculator like everywhere it says Goalie except for right here. It's just a small little one, but everywhere else it's going to be your stuff. And it's just like Calendly. I don't think anybody cares you're on a Calendly calendar and you didn't develop it yourself, if that makes sense. Any other questions or thoughts? Again, you can take a free trial. Once you're in there too, this is something cool. We built an income calculator for LOs and agents. So if you want to plan, I'm very big on prospecting, and so we basically built a calculator for you where you can reverse engineer how much money you want to make, put in all your stats, your comp plan, average loan size, some of your conversion metrics, and it will tell you how many prospects you need to speak with every day based on your numbers. That's all tied into the dashboard analytics. If you want to use that business card, it will track against that number and just more gamify your prospecting. You don't have to use it. It's just extra, but it's in there as well. Any other questions?
I got a few, just if nobody else does. And thing number one, for anybody that's here, if you want, I run a free community. It's called the Mortgage Broker Builder Community. It's inside of a platform called Circle. We post all kinds of stuff every single day with one sole intent is just to help you do more. I probably should do way more of trying to sell stuff through it. I don't. So if that's something, I attached it here. Jump in. If it sucks, you can always bail out of it. But I would tell you that I think I offer a lot of really cool stuff inside of there, and it's completely free. What are you seeing? So people are now in today's world, at least what I'm seeing, clients, consumers, they're going to get a lot more research. Like the apply now button applies to very few people that are actually at that point. I know you've posted a bunch of stuff about retargeting. Hey, somebody comes through my calculator, they're landing on my pages. I want to be in front of them with retargeting, those kind of things. Just you've built thousands of websites. Who knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars of loans you've helped originate. What are you seeing out there right now that people probably should be doing that you don't see enough of it?
It's a great question. But everything that all my answers are going to tie back to behaviors. So we know, again, just to go back to what we talked about earlier, we know that there's this huge gap between when someone becomes aware of you and months. I would say that NAR says 3 to 6 months. I would say that's probably more like a year. So when you talk about retargeting or any of this other stuff you can do, it's just all those things are just ways and mechanisms to stay in front of somebody. So if you guys aren't familiar with what retargeting is, that's if someone comes to your website and then they start seeing ads from you all over the place and essentially you're now following them around the internet. So whether it's that, whether it's email marketing, the social posting, the goalie cards, the whole point is to shrink the gap of between when someone becomes interested and actually takes action, which is super long in the mortgage industry, and ride along with them, if that makes sense.
No, that does. So we got a couple more questions. So Shelly's asking, is there a debt to income calc where they can enter their income and debts? There's actually a couple. There's one thing maybe Anthony can share as well. There's a way for you actually to put in their income and to send them out a calc that's only specific to them. So it's capped them. So there's a couple of different things.
Yep.
But yes, there is a affordability one. And then there's also an app where you can send out a client specific calculator just for them, which is super cool.
So as an example of what you're talking about, so let's say I just got on a conversation with Anthony Balsamo 99. Obviously, this is my fake account. And I know Anthony's going to be shopping for the next few months, haven't found a house yet. I could quickly go in and give and create a private calculator. We call them verified calcs based on their exact situation. And for the current Goalie users, we just expanded the debt, so it's not one number now. But you go through here, you fill out all the information of what they actually have, and then you can send them on their way and it was just that easy. I just filled that out, and now this is what was created. And again, this would be your branding, your links. You can have video or not. But now when they go to this affordability calc, they can play with a debt to income calculator based on all the different properties they're looking at, but their income and debts are locked. So they can still mess around with a home price, all the other things, and then see if they qualify or not. So these are private to the individual.
And a couple other things that I've just hit on there that on each of the calculators. So inside of here, you get to determine what sequence these appear to people. You can also go in if you want yours to default to Minnesota, because that's where you're at, and you don't want it to default to an Arizona calculator where every client has to do that. You get to, essentially, it's a la carte. You set what the initial landing place is. You can manipulate the interest rate, average credit score, tax, like you get to determine what your calculators look like. And again, you don't need to know coding or vibe coding. Like it's super simple. I could figure it out. So that means most people can.
Yeah, all the default settings you have the ability to put in. And the affordability calc will also do upfront MIP, VA funding fee, USDA guarantee fee. Like it's just the next tier up from like the basic free calcs you can get, which is more intuitive, which just gives the borrowers better information, doesn't create that friction point where it's, wait a minute, I thought it was going to be 2,000. Now it's saying 2,800. We're just trying to give them more information up front. Go ahead.
We got a couple other questions in here. Somebody asked about I believe they're a Goalie user, didn't know about the business cards. So one, I think there's emails out, but I actually learned about them on social media. And then to set them up is just done down in the branding section. and the reason I know this is I've helped a lot of people set theirs up, is just down in the branding section, there's additional steps that you have to take
Yep.
to just brand your business card. Again, it's 5 minutes, whether you want to use a video or not, all super simple. I may even, if you join my group, I will put a video in there of how do you do that. And I'll also post the replay of this, but I've got some videos, some how-to videos inside of my group as to how to use these things inside of there. Digital business card is included in the Goalie subscription.
Yep.
I feel like I'm actually like your salesman, Anthony. And I get paid zero on Goalie calculators. There's like nothing here other than it just helps people. And I think it's cool. And the more business we do is the better. What else is cool in here? And somebody else had asked about if you do the co-branded with the agent, it applies across all calculators. So that agent gets their own link with their own embed codes. So if they want to embed it on their website, and then all of it translates across, so the agent would get all of this. The agent wants their own app. They have to sign the Goalie themselves.
Except the verified calcs. We don't have a way to make those. Actually, if the contact's co-branded, I think it is. I'll back that up. So again, quick overview, what Goalie includes. I'm seeing existing Goalie users not even really totally clear on that, but it's a full calculator suite that's omnipresent, meaning you can put it on your website. It comes with a digital business card. It comes with those Goalie pages, which are the instant landing pages, which were built to mimic and really replace the Linktree style one pagers, because you can have your links, you have your branding. But again, it's not just links, it's something valuable. So now your contact and your pages become your lead magnet. So digital business card, CRM integration. If you're familiar with webhooks, we have people pushing this information into pretty much every CRM that people are using now with a simple webhook. That's all done in here. There's contact management, verified calculators. So we're trying to provide a lot with the North Star of not making this something that you need to figure out, need a developer to do. This is as simple as setting up a social media profile. So if you can make your own Facebook page, you can set this up. And if you can't, you can come to me and I'll help you do it, or at least walk you through it.
So we got a couple, and just so anybody knows, I included in the chat a link for my community as well. And we got asked here, where is the Linktree function? I don't know.
So when you set your account up, everything's done in two places: the My Profile, which is just your information, and then branding. So this first part of branding is all the stuff that's going to show up on your landing page that acts like Linktree. So it's your social media links, and then you get buttons. So those buttons that, let me go back and show you. So this is mine. This automatically generated based on this branding page. Again, that would be your logo. Any buttons you want here, you can put a message or not. I could take the video out, and then same thing with the business card. So if you just keep going down, you can change the colors. Some people want to do that. But in the business card settings, it's a separate set of buttons in case you want to send them different places, but it's all done in this branding section. And then this getting started tab, there's some questions about, is there guides or help? It's all in here. Again, this is originator style help videos. These are 1 to 2 minute max. If I won't watch them, they don't go in here. They're very short, easy to use. And then there's also some helpful tips on how to use it. And then if you use Canva, you can actually copy and paste this Canva link right into your account, and it will import, I think, maybe 20 or so templates that you can use to customize and put your face on and promote the calcs on social, which is one of the ways to do it. So a lot of digestible information in this getting started tab.
Yeah, and if I just jump back to where I started, the gurus all say post all the time. So you're going out and you're doing the should I buy versus rent calculator. Should I buy versus rent? You're doing the whole post, you're talking, you're being animated. You put it all together, and at the end, you're including your apply now link. Stop that and check out my buy versus rent calculator. And the number of clicks you'll get on that are way greater than what you were going to get on somebody sending them to your arrive page to apply now, or Flowify, or whatever your point of sale is. You got to give them that half step. And I think this accomplishes that on payment. People are curious about that. Affordability. What is a 2-1 buy down? I see people post about them all the time. There's an actual calculator that walks you through what the buy down would look like. DSCR. Again, right? You see it, just they don't explain it. Give people that half step. Should I refinance? Net proceeds? Net proceeds is a big one. People want to know how much they're going to get back when they sell their house.
Yep. Good one to use with your agents too. You can also, I know we're almost done here, but you can also, if any of you have teams, there are ways to have multi-seat plans where you could give this to your team and then they have their own ecosystem. If you don't need that, you can just use one seat to put on your company website and have one card. But if there's more people that want to use it, there are ways to do multi-seat plans.
And I have people too, if you have questions about this, I have people through my coaching community that I just do a pass through. You got to cover stripe charges with me. But outside of that, if it's something that you'd want to do and come back through and get a little bit of additional insight, like I said, I included the link in there. It's not some big money maker for me. It's just something that I really see as something that can add value. And you don't have to go out and spend thousands of dollars a month on some fandangled marketing company someplace. That's not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. Super helpful. We love it. We use them all the time. And give it a whirl. Might be something cool for you.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Hopefully this was helpful. Whether you use Goalie or not, the walkthrough on the mindset of what lead magnets are for, what, where they're for in the marketing sequence applies to everything. So just take that with you this year and try to absorb that into your strategy for marketing. Obviously, we hope you use Goalie to assist with that, but the strategy is sound, and that's a global strategy, just not for calculators.
No calculators for reverses.
Not yet. I already have them
No.
mapped out. We just haven't built them yet. I don't usually like to talk about what we're doing next, but the next release, which we're targeting for the end of February, is called Goalie Chat. It's a Chat GPT style embeddable window you can put anywhere. And we've integrated all the visuals of the calc to be able to speak the way people are speaking to Chat GPT, but actually pull in the visuals and make it a much more user-friendly experience to mirror how they're in Chat GPT and Perplexity, and then softly graduating them into either booking a call with you or filling out a form or asking for the next steps. So that's what's coming. That is slowing down new calculator releases, but I think this will be so impactful, and then we'll get back to the new calculator releases after.
Yeah, and somebody said here, good to incorporate a CRM with the digital. So when we have people that are using this, they're taking their Goalie calc, we're putting it all over the place, and then we're dropping it into, we just got an integration with people that are using high level. It becomes a fresh lead. And then we've got a sequence that fires off the back. So we're using this as top of the funnel to bring leads in instead of having them sending them to a landing page or something like that. We're just using this in place of that. And it seems to be working out well. Another thing that most people think is cool is you get to name yours what you want it to be. So I called mine Dude Approved. You can call yours Jimmy's Awesome Calculator if you want. The name is probably available, but you get to name yours whatever it is, which people like to name stuff. Did we miss anything? Is there anything else that might be helpful? And just if you guys can help myself and Anthony out after sitting through this, one, thank you for sticking around. It means we didn't totally waste your time. But on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being this makes zero sense, you probably bailed already. 10 being this is definitely something I need to implement in my business. After this presentation, if you can just drop in the notes, like where you sit at, whether it be Goalie or some other solution like this, but can you just give us a little indication if we sucked or not? And if we conveyed the message, that would be fantastic. Nice. I appreciate you guys all coming in. Like I said, I've included the link a few times. I'll do it again. If anybody wants to become part of the Mortgage Broker Builder community, totally 100% free. I try to post something there every day of value. And I don't know if I hit paste, what's going to show up. Invitation token. So jump in there. Thank you all. Anthony, appreciate it. I will get a replay of this back out. And I don't know. That's it, I guess. Happy Tuesday.
Thanks, everybody. Good seeing all the familiar faces and nice to meet the ones that are new. Take care.
Thank you all. Have a great day.